Welcome to the Feed Your Soul with Kim podcast. I am Kim McLaughlin, your host. I'm a psychotherapist, coach, speaker, and best-selling author. I help people when they feel frustrated and overwhelmed, and it shows up in overeating. Today, you're in for a treat. We are talking about summer fun as self-care. We're going to talk about what summer fun is, what is summer self-care, and what is not summer self-care. You're going to come away with a lot of doables to create a really important opportunity for yourself to really connect back with yourself this summer. Let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome to the podcast. Today, our topic is summer fun as self-care. And I love this idea because it certainly has been a great start to the summer. This week that I am recording is the summer solstice, and it is the longest daylight of the year. And what I did this week that I do every year for quite a few years is I start contemplating and then filling out what I call my summer bucket list. And I started this years ago when my daughter brought home, she was in pre-K and she is going into high school now. So this was quite a few years ago. Pre-K, she brought home this paper that was called Summer Bucket List, and it was really colorful and it caught my attention, and it had a list of 100 things you could do over the summer that you could do before summer kicks the bucket. And I thought that was just so fun. I looked at the list. I actually was just seeing if I still had that list, and I don't seem to have that paper. It's probably somewhere in some of her papers, for that pre-K era. So I couldn't find it, but I love that idea, and I have embraced it since that time for 7+ years now. I've embraced it, and my family has embraced it. So it was this list of things to do over the summer that were really, to me, summer ideals and summer things. Like, it was things like have a picnic outside, go walk barefoot on the sand, have breakfast for dinner, lots of different things that are things that we, like I said, that we connect with the summer. And it's really interesting to me because the idea of the summer bucket list really comes from the idea of kicking the bucket, doing something before you kick the bucket, which is before you die, which is really pretty morbid and not where I come from. But the idea of before summer ends, what are you going to do? What's going to be your thing? And like I said, I talk about this every year. And actually what I do every year is create a form that you opt into, which you can get in our show notes, is going to be the summer bucket list. You can opt in to get it. It's a list that I created that you can print out or you can use as a PDF and write on to get your ideas. What I always talk about is that I do it myself, but I also do it with my husband, my daughter, our family. We talk about what we want to do over the summer. And as every summer, we did that this year. And we've been making lists of what we want to do and what's important to each of us and putting it on the calendar, because I find that if we don't put it on the calendar, it's literally not going to happen. So my husband and I were talking about one of the things I put on my bucket list for this year is taking a boat over from our side of the Bay Area over to San Francisco. Taking it's a boat that we take over. And I heard a friend talk about it, and I thought, I want to go do that. And so we talked about doing that and putting it on the calendar, because as I told him, if we don't get it on the calendar, there's going to be all these other things that take up that space. And so we'll never get to do these things that we like to do. So I like the idea of putting it on the calendar, writing it down, putting it on the calendar. What I realized this year is I think I've been spending too much time with the summer bucket list, having it be about what everybody else wants to do. And then I kind of bob and weave and put mine in the calendar around what everybody else in my family wants to do. And I've really been thinking this year about the idea of summer fun as a form of self-care and a way that I need to engage more with that to take better care of myself. So this is where I'm coming from today, is really getting an idea for myself, but also for all of you to start engaging in, what do I want to do? What do I want to embrace more for this summer for myself, for my self-care? Because it can end up being a list of things that become like driving other people around and scheduling other people and doing those things rather than what about me. So what I wanted to go over is some ideas about what a summer bucket list is and what it's not. So first I wanted to say the first thing about a summer bucket list is it's not a list of have tos. It's not the things that you have to do. It's also not a list of expectations. It's not these expectations that it's got to be a certain way or it's got to look a certain way. There really has to be this room for flexibility within this. And it's also not a way to micromanage my time, to get every moment filled out throughout the whole summer and get everything done. It's not any of that. And also lastly, I think this is really important to say, is that it's also the summer bucket list is not about having to spend a lot of money. It is really embracing what you want to do within the budget that you have, and not being, it doesn't have to be overly frivolous and expensive. So I want this to feel inclusive, like all of us could do it. And that it can be something that we want to do. Let's say, what you want on your summer bucket list is, I want to go to Paris. Like, well, maybe that won't fit into your schedule. Maybe it won't fit into your budget this year, but how can you embrace Paris this year? If that is on your list, then it might be wearing some Parisian clothes, like stripes, or listening to Parisian music, things like that. So money is not going to hold you back. It's more just thinking of the idea of what is it I want to embrace, and then how can I make that happen within the budget that I have, and not necessarily being about spending money. So that's what the bucket list is not. The bucket list is a place to embrace really intentional fun, about having this sense of celebration and feeling full of life. Full of life. That, I think, is a lot of what comes out can come out during the summer, is how am I going to have fun? And that can often be something that we have let go over the years into our adulthood. We've let it go. And I want to bring back more fun this summer. I want to do it for me, and I'm encouraging you to do it for yourself too. This is also, a summer bucket list is also a place to own more self-care. I really thought about that with the idea of embracing fun, is that is often a form of self-care that we don't do, because once again, we're adults, we're in businesses, we're working, we have families, we have commitments, we have older parents to take care of, that there are all these other things, and that we don't engage in fun just for the mere fact of having that be self-care. Also, a summer bucket list it's a time to put yourself on your schedule. What I said earlier is that why I think it's important to put it on your schedule, to be really intentional, is that we tend to come last. And if it's not on the schedule, it's not done. It gets forgotten. And then the summer ends, we're in September, October, and go, oh, dang, I never did that thing that I really wanted to do, because we're not putting it on the schedule. and not making it a priority. So I'm going to consciously step into this summer, and I'm really looking to invite you all to come along with me and having this planning summer fun as a form of self-care. So let's start with the idea about if you're going to engage with me in having a summer bucket list. It might not come easy to you to think about what you could do. So I wrote down a list of questions that I'm going to read off that you really could contemplate. One way to contemplate it is to talk out loud with a partner, with a friend about these questions, but also to just write it down in a journal. Because journaling on these things, you can really get an idea of what might be your things to do. Also, if you once again opt in for the summer bucket list, I started writing down a list of ideas because that often is a stopping point because we can't even think about what would I do? What would be on my summer bucket list? I don't know. So here are some things. First, what do you like to do and you have not done in a while? What is it you like to do? That can be a really hard question. Some of the ways to get to that is, what did you used to like to do? What did you do when you were younger? What did you do as a teenager? What did you do when you were single? What did you do before that you like to do and haven't done in a while? Second, what do you do, or what do others do that you feel jealous about? Like, I think about when I'm jealous about what somebody else does, it is because I'm not doing that myself. So if I see somebody going on trips that I really would want to go on, and I feel jealous of it, maybe that's my time to look inward and go, well, so Kim, maybe you want to put that on your bucket list. Maybe you want to start saving money for that trip, or maybe you want to engage in that. It might be you're jealous of others because they get to do this fun activity that you haven't done because you don't allow yourself to do it. So that idea of jealousy is really that mirror back to us going, maybe I'm jealous about that because I actually want to do it myself. So that's another way to start wondering what you might want to do for your bucket list to put on for the things you want to do before summer is over. Another question to ask yourself is, what have you never done but really want to do? I actually added to my list, I don't know that I'm going to be able to do it this summer, but I want to learn how to surf. I realized that I saw somebody else surfing. I felt a little jealous, and I go, I would love to learn how to do that. So I want to plan a trip probably to Hawaii and take a surfing lesson. So that's something that I started to think about. What have I never done, but I really want to do? So that could be something you could start thinking about. Another question to ask, the fourth question to ask is, what have you been afraid to do, but really want to do it? What have you been afraid? What causes you a little bit of fear? I know some people that are doing some little improv comedy classes. It causes them a little bit of fear, but they've been thinking about doing it. So they're going to do it this year, and they're putting it in the schedule and getting it done, even though it feels really scary. So what is it you're afraid to do, but you really want to do? Maybe that's the thing you want to put on your summer bucket list. Lastly, one of my most important questions is, what would give you pleasure? What would give you pleasure this summer? And put that on your list. Put it in as something to do. I used to read a lot more, and I stopped doing it because I get too busy. I'm doing all these other things. Well, what has been giving me pleasure over these past couple of weeks as the summer has started is I've been sitting outside in the backyard later in the 5, 6 o'clock, and I have been reading. And I've really been enjoying it. And I've been reading novels. I often will sit and read something that is a business book or a mindset kind of book. Now I just thought, well, what would give me pleasure? I would love to read a fun book. I would love to read an interesting novel. So that's what I've been doing. And I have found a lot of pleasure in that and a lot of fun in doing that. So you can start creating your own summer bucket list. Those are some questions that you can do to get you kind of primed for what to do it. So after you've done all of the contemplation, all of the questions, start writing it down. It can get lost. I put it actually on a list of 100 things that I want to do, and I start checking them off when I do them, and I start putting them on the calendar. What I love to do is to write it down on my calendar, and then when I've done it, when I've done the thing that's on my bucket list, I love to cross it off and just really do an inner celebration of good job, Kim. I'm glad you did that. That was something that you wanted to get done, and you did it, and really enjoy the fun of it. And also be sure to keep some extra space in your calendar and on your bucket list for things that you want to add. I just added this week, I added surfing because I thought I really want to try that. I want to experience that. So I put it on my list because I included extra space to add something new and different. As the summer goes on, things come up or show up that I find that are interesting, and I write them down and put them on my list. So I really encourage you to do this. I am opening up our Feed Your Soul community on it's a Facebook group that we have, and the link is in the show notes so you can join us. But to start really talking about it, one of the things I like to do is I like to hear what other people are doing for summer fun. So then it gives me ideas for what I can do and what would be, what I find is, once again, I see other people as a mirror. Even if I don't feel jealous about what they're doing, it's like, that's an interesting idea. That's something I might want to do. And I start embracing it. So it's an opportunity to join in community, to start talking about what would you find fun to do, and then start doing it. So I'm going to encourage you to do that, to start making your list. Download the summer bucket list. That would be a great thing for you to do. And I really encourage you to embrace fun for yourself this summer. It is an excellent form of self-care that we often miss because self-care can sometimes become a chore. Like, I have to do these things. I have to do these things. No. This is, what am I going to do for fun? And do more of that. So I am so glad you have joined me on the Feed Your Soul with Kim podcast. I look forward to hearing what you are doing for summer fun. I want to be encouraged by what you do. I'm going to encourage you by what I do. And let's just engage in more of that self-care by embracing more fun. As the days are longer, there's more energy and opportunity to just get out there and create some fantastic summer experiences. I look forward to talking to you later. Bye now.